In Chapter 6, Section 1, we solved by graphing, and it worked fine. The only thing is it's not always the most accurate, and it doesn't work for really, really, really large numbers. I wouldn't want to graph like 1,000 or anything. So we need another method. And this next method we're going to look at is substitution. You will notice in example A, we have a y equals something and a y equals something. Well, I'm going to take that and put it in place of the y, and then you will have x plus 3 equals 2x plus 5. Solving that, you're going to subtract x from both sides, and that will be 3 equals x plus 5. And when we subtract 5 from both sides, x equals negative 2. And now that we have our x value, we can substitute that into either one of those equations, whichever one looks easier. And I'm going to take it and put it right in there. And it says y equals negative 2 plus 3. Well, negative 2 plus 3 is 1. So our ordered pair is negative 2 for the x and 1 for the y. Letter B, this whole thing, that whole y minus 1, that equals x. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to put it in place of that x. I'm going to substitute it in place of that x. And you will have 4 times y minus 1, that went in place, plus y equals 6. So I took that whole quantity and put it in place of the x. When you distribute, that becomes 4y minus 4 plus y equals 6. 4y plus y is 5y minus 4 equals 6. And if we add 4 to both sides, 5y equals 10. And when you divide both sides by 5, y equals 2. And you can substitute that into any one, whichever one looks easier. And I'm going to put it right there. We have y minus 1 equals x. Well, I'm going to put that 2 in there. And 2 minus 1 is 1. So x equals 1, y equals 2. And if you want to, you can write that as an ordered pair, 1, 2. Letter C, y equals 2x, y equals x plus 5. So we're going to take that and put that in place of the y. And then you will have 2x equals x plus 5. Subtracting x from both sides, you have x equals 5. And then substituting into either one of those two, I'm going to put in the top one. 2 times 5 is 10. And if you want to write it as an ordered pair, you would have the ordered pair 5, 10. Letter D, we have an x equals, so that whole expression can go in place of the x. So we will have 2y minus 4 plus 8y equals 16. 2y plus 8y is a 10y. We add 4 to both sides. and that becomes 10y equals 20. And dividing both sides by 10, y equals 2. You can substitute that into either one. I'm going to pick this first one. 2 times 2 is 4, minus 4 is 0. So x equals 0, and then your ordered pair would be 0, 2. Now letter E, we have a slight problem. We don't have a nice x equals or y equals. So what I'm going to do is add 2x to both sides, and then that top equation becomes y equals 2x plus 8. And now I can take this and put it in place of the y, and that becomes 3x plus 2. We put that expression in place of the y, equals 9. And then we have 3x plus 4x plus 16 equals 9, which becomes 7x plus 16 equals 9. And we subtract 16 from both sides, and you have 7x equals negative 7. So x equals negative 1. And you can put that into any of these equations. This one is going to be the easiest. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2, plus 8 is 6. So our ordered pair would be negative 1, 6. Letter F, same thing. We don't have a nice x equals or y equals. So I'm going to add 4y to both sides. And that becomes x equals 11 plus 4y. And we're going to take that and substitute it, put it in place of the x. So 4y minus 5 times 11 plus 4y equals 9. And as you distribute, becomes 4y minus 55 minus 20y equals 9. 4y minus 20y is a negative 16y minus 55 equals 9. And when we add 55 to both sides, you have negative 16y equals 64. And when you divide both sides by negative 16, y equals negative 4. And I'm going to substitute into this one. 11 plus 4 times negative 4 is 11 plus negative 16, which is negative 5. So x equals negative 5, y equals negative 4. Story problem example. One high-speed internet provider has a $50 setup fee, and then it costs $30 per month. So that will be y equals 50 plus 30x. Another provider has no setup fee, and the cost is just $40 a month, or 40x. So we want to know when those two things cost the same. So we have 50 plus 30x equals 40x. We subtract 30x from both sides, and that becomes 50 equals 10x. Dividing both sides by 10, x equals 5. So in 5 months, it will cost the same. And then 40 times 5 is 200. At 5 months, it will cost $200. Next one, the length of a rectangle is 3 times larger than its width. So for the width, we're going to let that equal W. The length is 3 times the width, so the length is 3W. Width is just W, length is 3 times that, and they give us the perimeter. To get the perimeter of a shape, this is W and this is 3W. We have to add all of those up. W plus 3W plus W plus 3W equals 80. So that will be 8W equals 80. And then W, the width equals 10. So the width here is 10. The length is 3 times that, so that will be 30. So the length is 30 and the width is 10.